Synthesis is the ability to understand the parts that you put together, and it informs and forms an entire new whole. An interesting example of synthesis happened when Julie took the truck, didn't really know why she took the truck, and then synthesized through her emotions that, wow, this is really a powerful memory from 4 years old. And evaluation, the understanding of self through the group. The other thing I just wanted to speak about here briefly is the affective, the strategic, and the recognition system. Here's the brain. And there's 3 systems happening within ourselves at all times. One is the strategic system, which is our fine and gross motor coordination. It's our ability to speak and move. The other system is our affective system, which is our happiness, our sadness, our emotions, how we feel about certain things. Our fight and flight is in that affective system. And the above system is the recognition system. Now, what's interesting with the Alzheimer's population is the recognition system has objects, letters, and language. That seems to go, while their affective system is still present for a longer period of time. So that's why it makes art such a perfect modality to continue to use throughout the lifespan, because the art is affecting their feelings of well-being. We can say in sort of a summary statement here that the theme programming incorporates the regions of the brain, the basic principles of how we learn, the affective, strategic, and recognition system, and it utilizes those systems throughout the programming. Frontal lobe, problem solving, motor cortex moving, parietal is touching, reticular formation is arousal, Broca's area is speech. Those are all the things you are doing. And what I was going to say, and I sort of stopped myself, all of this is not brand new. You all have worked with these materials, you've all done environments, you've all used sculpture. What's new about this is this validates what you're doing in the person's inner world. The arts have never really been researched in much depth. Why? Because we each do art differently. You know, you all have gone through the art therapy schooling. You've gotten your board certification. But I would bet $100 on the fact that you all use those materials in different ways. Now, what's powerful about this methodology and what will bring you money is through grants, because you can say, with the references in this book, that I can change the quality of life with my individuals and thus affect the financial burden on our healthcare system. Why can you say that? Because the person with Alzheimer's disease life averages 18 years. And if you create patterns of wellness for these individuals, you are going to decrease the amount of medicines they need. You're going to decrease the amount of behavioral affects that the nurses are going to have to attain if you're giving them repetition, quality programming like this that doesn't cost anything. To give you some numbers, right now there's 5.2 million people and growing who have Alzheimer's disease today in November 2008. In 2012, the baby boomers mean is going to hit 65. That means that we're going to jump from 5 million to 10 million people with Alzheimer's disease in the next 5 years. By 2020, if we don't change the way we take care of these people, it's going to be a crisis on our health care, because there's going to be 75 is going to be the average age of the baby boomers, And why 75 is critical is that you can have lived a healthy life. And statistics show us that at 75, something starts to go because of our aging process. And because maybe cognitive impairment is environmental, maybe it came out of the pots and pans we used as children, but the effect is going to be that they predict that 20 million people will have Alzheimer's disease by 2020. Your role, and I'm trying to get to something I want to pull up for you, is doing research and presenting a proposal utilizing the TAP method so that you can get funding. Because I've done all the hard work. I've given you the references. And you can say to your administration, give me $2,000 and I will show you on their cognitive behavioral scale how we are changing their wellness. Because it's going to be, and we will come to a point where hopefully the art therapists will be the most important people in the world of this culture change. And that's what needs to happen because we're in a crisis. We're in a crisis situation that no one wants to look at. It's our responsibility as therapists in healthcare. You guys have to start making changes to your administration. University has what they call a memory and evaluation clinic through Cornell Neuroscience Department. And what they do is they say to people, and they see people from all over the world, come in if you have a problem. We have the highest level of neuroscience. We have the highest laboratory. We will tell you why or what is happening in your brain. Well, I met these individuals, the director, who's a neuroscientist, when I was presenting research last year. And I said to him, I really think that Cornell should look at the possibility of creating a research study looking at this TAP method. And it took me a year. It took me 6 meetings at Cornell, May, March, June, August, September. I wrote up the study. Now, Cornell was so impressed with this. Cornell is funding me from their own research money. As I've been speaking over the past year, Westchester, New York University in New York City called me up and said, we'd like to meet with you. And I met with them 4 or 5 months ago. They said, we're interested in writing up a proposal to NIH. The National Institute on Health gives out money for pilot studies. New York University is applying to the NIH for pilot money to study it. Why? Because the neuroscientist said to me in his nice office with the mahogany in the background, we're thinking that we're going to do a 5-year study on this after this pilot data comes out.